or is it more you guys just make?
No, Juice is playing really well. Connor's got a little bit of a sprained ankle, so we're trying to just take it easy on him. So we pulled him a lot. PJ probably got the most time with the ones today. So, but Connor played. I thought Juice played really well going down the stretch there. So it's like I said, we're gonna believe in competition. We're gonna keep this thing going until we make a decision as a staff.
How has Connor reacted to that? Because I know he has not been one to say, "Oh, I've got the job." But because of how he played in the spring game, maybe people kind of assumed that he would be the starter going into Notre Dame. How has he responded when there's a little bit more heat on him?
I think the biggest issue with him right now is he's a little bit banged up. So he's he's struggling a little bit to get his feet underneath him to kind of move a little bit. So, but mentally, I think he's a tough kid. He's got he knows that that's what this game's all about, is competition day in and day out. So I don't think that part of it phases him. I think more he's just trying to make sure he's healthy so he can have his feet underneath him when he wants to make those big throws.
What's Juice showing you?
He's throwing the football really well. We know he can run, but he's throwing the football well. And, so he's seeing things. It's just like anything else. He just get better. They're all getting better and better and better at it. So we'll see what happens in the scrimmage, the next scrimmage. But each and every day of practice, we're grading them, we're evaluating them. And we know we need to have 3 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks to have a chance to get through a season anyway. So while it's a competition for them, to us, it's just getting them ready to play.
Where are you with the offensive line, Matt? I know you got some injuries out there, but if you were to just run out a first unit right now, what would it look like?
Yeah, today it would be Hooks at left tackle. It'd be Jeff Whittingham at left guard, who's returning. Those 2 guys started last year. It'd be Kyle Friend at center, and it would be Pete White at right guard, and at right tackle would be Eric Lofton, with Deion Dawkins probably the next swing guy in there, and some other young guys with, Booth came back today and practiced a little bit today, so hopefully we'll have him ready here in the next couple of days and see who the best one is. But that would probably be where we're at right now, just with injuries. And Booth and Boyle went back today, so we'll have to see how they were. It's like anything else, they practice, you get excited, and sometimes it just takes a step back, so we'll have to see how healthy they feel.
How has White looked? I know he's a new guy to this whole situation.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah, he's been a really, he's a heck of a kid. He was really well coached by his last offensive line coach. He's got a lot of potential. And the biggest thing I like about him is he doesn't say, well, that's not how I do this, or he just does whatever we ask. He does it really well. So he's trying to play himself into shape right now. He's 345 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's not a fat man. He's a big man. So playing at our speed and tempo, he's got some work to do to make sure he's ready for the 31st.
Because he's got to. Everybody's got to pick stuff up, but he's really got to pick up a whole lot.
He's working hard at it. I think he wants to be a pro, and one of our managers around here is going to train him to be pros, and so like the other day I brought our playbook, and I brought in the Giants playbook, and it's about that big, and it was just, hey, this is nothing. So I think he's embraced that. Our verbiage, our terminology, our techniques, even they're all different for him, but he's wholeheartedly bought in. So I'm excited about him.
Did you kind of ease him in, because it looked like he wasn't running with the ones much last week?
No, I put Deion. Who came in. We don't put anyone anywhere, And but he's played really well, and Deion. Deion's going to be a really good player. He's a freshman. He's trying to learn how to do things day in and day out the right way. But he's going to be a really, really good player for us, and he's still in the mix. He's been playing some tackles, some guards. So we're going to get the key is to get the best 5 out there, and then have 7 or 8 that you feel like you can play in a game with. And so we're playing with a lot of true freshmen right now that hopefully we can redshirt. They're getting a lot of reps right now, which develops them. So hopefully we can find 7 or 8 that are ready to go.
That Guardian.
Oh, good, John.
That Guardian cap, is that something you guys are going to use all the way through the season?
Yeah, all the way through, yeah. So, we're gonna. I was watching South Carolina on TV the other day. I saw them doing it, but like I said the other day, football's it's a collision sport, it's a contact sport, and things happen. But if we can minimize that at any time by giving our guys the best equipment that they can have, we're willing to do that. It's just kind of our focus on the student athlete.
Was it an easy sell for you to go ahead and?
Yeah, there's no downside to it, and so if it does help, great. If it doesn't do anything, then it's the same as not having it.
Right.
And we did it in the spring, and it seemed like it worked pretty well. So things still do happen, but I think you always want to err on the side of player safety.
Sure.
Took the load, so at defensive end.
Yeah, well, I came late to a meeting, so I put him at the D line, to kind of. He came late to a meeting, which kids come late, they sleep in, I sleep in, so I put him with the D line, and I didn't know he was going to go out there, and he had like 7 sacks, so we'll see. He's a really talented young player and a great kid.
So he actually responded well to it?
He just said, maybe, I don't know if that was his way, he might have just been mad at me, so he said, I'll show you, and so he went and had 5 or 6 sacks, so, during camp we always kind of move some guys around, and at the end of the day we're trying to find, we know we're going to have to go play Houston, and they run 115 plays of 3 and 4 wides, and even if a guy's going to start at receiver, he can go out there and rush the passer. We'll use him. I mean, we're gonna use everybody. So if Bill Belichick can do it, we're certainly going to try to do it. So we're trying to just experiment and find out what guys can do.
Where are you with the pass rush? I know a lot of people are saying that Sean Daniels has to step up, but I guess it can't just be him. Like, who else have you seen is kind of?
No, I'm pleased with our guys' approach to the pass rush right now. I mean, Levi, Kamal, Shaheed, they're all out there. The older guys are all trying to rush the passer. Alex Jackson's doing a nice job, and Ramon's been fantastic when we had him there. So it's going to be a group effort, but they have the right approach about trying to go back and be a 35-40 sack team. So they're, I think they have the right mentality. It's just a matter of how many guys we can get to do it. Because you're going to need a lot of pass rushers in this league.
Who played about well when you had a chance to look at the film from the scrimmage? Who caught your eye?
I thought PJ did a really nice job at quarterback for a young guy. He's really just kind of really owned the whole offense. I thought Zaire Williams as a young tailback and Jamie Gilmore did a nice job. I thought Matakevich did a really nice job. I mean, I've really challenged him. And I think Kyle Friend was fantastic on the offensive line. And then we got guys like Jalen Fitzpatrick, Ryan Alderman, really solid guys. So there was a lot of other guys too. It's just it's hard for me to think through a couple of days ago right now. But those guys really kind of stood out to me as guys that are really making progress right now.
It's just Patrick. I know because you talked about him pretty much regularly during the off season. Is he a guy who you expect to go to a lot more now? In this offense?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna have a great year. He's got the right work ethic approach, and he's talented, and he's gonna be a key player for us, I think.
You mentioned that some of the younger defensive backs looked good last week. Who particularly was looking good?
Tavon Young's been running with the ones, and he's done a nice job. And he's buying. Stephon Marshall's been running with the ones a little bit. Jahad Pretlow, as a freshman, he's been mixing with the ones at safety. So
Tavon's still a cornerback, right?
Tavon's a corner, and those other guys.
Who was he?
Zamel's been down a little bit. Roby's playing really well right now. But it's like anything else. Sometimes a guy gets banged up, he pulls a hamstring. He's got to sit a couple days, and you get in there, you play really well, and that's life, So. Tavon's played pretty well since he's been in there, so I'm pleased with those guys.
How much was the emphasis, going back to the helmets again, how much different was the emphasis at the NFL level? I mean, with all the stuff that's been going around, the concussion situation, how much of a difference was there on the emphasis they were placing on from the NFL level and at the collegiate level?
That's a good question. I mean, I think really, the college level, there's probably more, maybe more contact and practices,
right?
Because you're still developing. You're not a pro yet,
right?
And when you get to the NFL, I mean, some teams have a lot of contact, but it's a little limited by the Players Association rules, maybe. I think you have concussions. We had concussions there. We have concussions here. I mean,
right.
it's a contact sport. There's going to be some. So I think really, I think it just comes down to the culture you build, where you want to make sure that kids, if they have a concussion, they report it.
Right.
They know what it is. They're educated, and that more importantly, if they see their buddy, maybe he has one, that they report it. So we try to do a really good job of making sure our players understand that concussions aren't something you try to tough out. Just like an ACL, you don't try to tough that out. A sprained ankle, you don't try to tough out. You don't try to tough out anything to your head. And but I thought that was pretty. That culture was built there at the Giants, I can tell you. And so we've just tried to do the same thing here.
Talking about Connor, you said his ankle's been banged up. Where is he with his overall command of the offense right now?
I think he has a good command mentally. Our defense, whereas in the spring maybe they played like 1 or 2 coverages. Now they're getting 3 or 4 coverages, some pressures, and the scrimmage they came out and it looked like the old, Dom Capers Blitzburg defense. I mean, they were coming from all angles, which is great for us. And our offense just got back on their heels and had to try to regain their momentum. So I think he's learning trial by fire, really, in terms of make a mistake, fix it, make a mistake, fix it. Same thing with PJ. I mean, here he's a freshman and he's throwing out there, he's getting forced, all these different blitzes, and he's having to respond to those. So we're just trying to coach off what they see every day. It gets a little easier sometimes you get in the game week because you just narrow it down to, hey, here's the 2 or 3 things you're going to see. Right now they're seeing a lot of things as the defense puts in their whole playbook.
With Chris, are you guys still kind of discovering how to use him? And because he knows the offense really well, he's still kind of figuring out what he's doing?
We've been really traditional with Chris. We've just been playing him at tight end and H-back and just let him do the base offense, and I think the thing is he's a heady, solid player that you can go to with a lot of different things, so, but I think he's still learning his position. So before you try to get creative, just trying to make sure he really understands what he's doing so he has a good foundation.